What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk to you about Rezolve. I want to go over some of the data points, break it down what's moving it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So Rezolve is up 2.1%, 335 the high, 320 the low, and 3.1 million shares being traded within the first about 15 minutes of the trading day. So today is really shaping up to be pretty positive for Rezolve, not so much for the broader market. So the market's throwing a little bit of a temper tantrum right now because of this data. So challenger job cuts came in at 35,000, forecast of 89. That is very good. Of course, market doesn't want very good, especially in regards to labor linked data. So we want negative or slightly negative, of course, but when it comes down to this, it really is going to be a final hit to the likelihood of a January 28th cut, in my opinion. So most likely today, this right here is going to drop to single digit, and then potentially with tomorrow's data, that might be the final dagger. So as far as rate cuts, the market will have to wait up until March 18th. So again, market's throwing a little bit of a temper tantrum today. We did have initial jobless claims came in at 208, forecast of 205. That's kind of what the market does want, but I think based on my experience, the market's always really prioritized challenger job cuts over initial jobless claims. So again, this came in very positive. This one came in somewhat negative. So still, that's what's causing a lot of volatility. In Rezolve's case, there hasn't been any news coming out from them today. If this will load, so no news coming out today. We did have this that came out yesterday, which is pretty phenomenal if you ask me. So Rezolve AI to take center stage at NRF 2026 as agentic commerce emerges as retail's next growth engine. So in general, them doing a fireside chat is nothing really crazy. Like Rezolve does many of them, many stocks do a lot of them, and blah, blah, blah. But this one is in collaboration with Microsoft, so a very big partner of Rezolve. So this is kind of the first time, because ever since I started covering Rezolve, Dan has always said, oh yeah, our partners with Microsoft and blah, blah, blah. They always list a lot of big names, but this is kind of the first time we've ever seen them together for the most part. So this, even though it's just a general fireside chat, talking about pretty much what they're going to see for growth within the sector, which in my opinion will be pretty positive. But this is going to be the first time with Microsoft as well as Fashable. And I don't believe Rezolve's ever mentioned Fashable in the past, so I don't know if that's a new partnership. But nonetheless, Microsoft is the big player. And yeah, hopefully they do kind of talk about how that's going to integrate to American sales as well at the same time. So in general, market loved this yesterday, despite the crappy red day that most stocks were kind of experiencing yesterday as well. When it comes down to shorts, right now they are increasing about 118,000 shares. 24.85% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 29.51 million shares overall being shorted. So as I've been really signaling, shorts are kind of starting to circle Rezolve like sharks. Hopefully they do kind of start to return leading into the 13th, which most likely will be the next big catalyst for Rezolve. Hopefully they're able to really hit a home run and really show the bears and the bulls, both, everyone, kind of what they're all about, right? And hopefully they do raise their guidance and kind of give you some insight on what to expect for 2025. I don't think they can give any approximate numbers because that will have to or come from their earnings, but nonetheless, shorts hopefully will be returning over the next couple of trading days. Looking at options, so again, the market just opened roughly 20 minutes ago. So seeing 95,000 in calls, 25,000 in puts. So kind of low volume in reality. And then 72% of all the options being done so far are bearish in nature. A lot of that, I'm sure, is just feeding off of the negativity in the broader market. From a bull standpoint, you still see a consensus for it to be above 350. So that's definitely good to see. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 3. So kind of have that back and forth. Based on Rezolve's technicals though, things are looking pretty a-okay if you ask me. As far as transactions occurring on the secondary market, you do see two, and both regrettably are sells. One for 441,000, other one for 123. So institutions aren't really doing too much with Rezolve just yet. If there is some big updates that kind of happens throughout the day, or if Rezolve's drop some news, and it's substantial. I'll do a PM video as well just to give you some insight of that. And then these are all the transactions occurring so far on the dark pool. And so when it comes down to dark pool, it's often enough used by shorts as well as hedge funds. Right now with it at 330, smack dab in the middle between this R3 and this R2. So 320 is going to be a strong support, and conveniently that is the low so far for today. So we know that's a good support level. If that, for whatever reason, does fail to hold, then 305 and 281 will be the following support levels. So for those of you that want a dollar cost average, swing trade, just kind of watch for those. 343 will be that target that you really want to watch for it to get over today and close above, because then that way it can kind of continue its momentum a little bit higher, because based on the actual chart, things are looking pretty good. And this is something I've mentioned way back over here, that as soon as it started to break above that 10-day moving average, you can kind of tell it was starting to get some good legs and some good momentum. And then it did break above that 50-day moving average, and generally for a lot of growth stocks, that is like a very big deal. And then luckily enough, yesterday kind of broke above it and closed above also that 200-day moving average. So things are actually shaping up to pretty a-okay. You do typically need 2 consecutive days to really signal a trend. So this 200-day moving average is sitting at 319. So as long as it can hold that 319 level today, then you can kind of anticipate further highs. And last time this type of breakout did occur was way back here. Again, as I've mentioned, I'm not saying that this type of similar price action is going to occur, but we could definitely see a push to that 100-day moving average, and that's going to sit at roughly around 414, and potentially as well on the 13th if that is a good catalyst and they actually do, let's say, raise their 2026 guidance and reconfirm kind of the point that they're at for 2025 or what they achieved generally, then yeah, logically we could see things go very, very high from here. So let me know your viewpoint on Rezolve. There really hasn't been that much in updates from any analysts, nor has there been any kind of articles really talking about Rezolve. So I feel like this would be the perfect time, if any, for an analyst to really give a positive rating on Rezolve. That would be kind of the nice gentle push that Rezolve needs to really get it high. So let me know your general thoughts on Rezolve. Are you buying? Are you selling? What are you generally doing with Rezolve? And I've mentioned this in the past. A lot of people kind of just crap all over me for actually saying all this. But if you actually do believe in Rezolve or any stock, when things are looking the kind of horrible and it's just going down and down, buy a long-term call. Because even when it was roughly around this range, I was saying in my videos, hey, you know what? Same thing. If you believe in Rezolve, buy a long-term call. It's going to pay off. And so not only would you be up a solid, probably about just shy of 50% on your actual common stock, but if you did buy a long call, you'd be up probably a solid maybe 150%. So in general, definitely worthwhile. And this is a good example of it. So for instance, if you feel that Rezolve is going to go to, let's say, back to $5, and that's going to be another 51.52% upside from these levels. If you feel like it's going to get there by, let's say, August, that would be a 71.43% return on a long call. Or potentially, if you think it's going to occur in May, that's at 86.67% return. So definitely consider looking at options. Or flip side, if you actually think that Rezolve is going to go down, you could always buy a put. I feel like a lot of investors don't take advantage of options, and that's how you can make some very serious money in the broader market. So let me know your thoughts on Rezolve. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, if you are looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, pop over to my Patreon, put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades, worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that said, appreciate all you watching.